If tonight you were dropped into a freezing 40 degrees Fahrenheit world, no heater, no firewood, just a hide shelter and the clothes on your back, how long would you last before the cold shut down your body? For native families living across North America, that wasn't a nightmare scenario, it was every winter. And they didn't just survive, they built a way of life around the cold. This is what a freezing night truly looked like, hour by hour, task by task, decision by decision. Thin smoke rises in a gentle spiral, like a living thread of warmth weaving its way toward the vent at the top. The fire is small, not a raging bonfire, but a controlled ember bed fed with buffalo chips, glowing soft and orange against the hide walls. That glow reflects across fur blankets and layered sleeping skins arranged with purpose, not chaos. Every piece has a thermal role. Every inch of space matters. Near the center, a woman leans forward and adjusts the two smoke flaps ears of the teepee. Her movement isn't random. It's precise, learned through generations. Just a small repositioning of those flaps changes the entire airflow system. The smoke rises cleanly, the spent air escapes, and fresh oxygen slips in without ever creating a cold draft. Cold air actually does enter the teepee, but it never reaches the people inside. It slides in under the outer hide covering, rises between the outer skin and the inner lining, heats gradually, then joins the warm air higher up. That hidden pathway turns raw winter into usable warmth, an elegant conversion that modern HVAC engineers would admire. Outside, the wind punches hard. You can hear it clawing at the planes. But the teepee doesn't resist the wind head-on. It redirects it. The bison hide walls shudder slightly, then relax, shedding the pressure like a feather sheds rain. It is aerodynamic by design, not accident. This isn't a tent thrown up against the cold. This is a living machine, tuned through centuries of observation, testing, and survival. Every pole, every seam, every flap adds up to a structure where warmth doesn't fight the cold. It outsmarts it. The horizon glows pale gold as the first slice of sun rises, lighting the teepee camp in a quiet, icy dawn. Breath turns instantly to vapor, drifting like smoke from 100 tiny fires of life. The cold is sharp, metallic, unforgiving, yet the camp moves with calm precision. Children, wrapped in layered fur and suede, kneel beside the teepee walls with small shovels. They are not playing in snow. They are reinforcing insulation, scoop by steady scoop, packing snow tight against the base. With every handful, the wall grows thicker. Every handful means a little more warmth for everyone sleeping inside tonight. A man steps out of the shadows of the teepee entrance, and steam rises from him the moment he meets the open air. His layered clothing traps body heat, and that heat escapes in tiny wisps as he breathes. He studies the sky the way modern climbers check weather radar, watching the wind direction, tasting the sharpness in the air, sensing if a storm is coming. Experience has made his instincts more reliable than any forecast. Nearby, women work with baskets and skin-covered bundles stacked neatly in the snow. They peel back the covers and begin sorting dried buffalo dung, each piece selected for how well it burns. This isn't waste. It's clean burning, smokeless fuel, compressed summer grass passed through the great herds. It keeps fires alive through nights that could kill the unprepared. Flat river stones, smooth, heavy, and heat-absorbent, are fed into the fire, warming slowly. Later, they will be wrapped in hides to tuck under bedding, slipped into moccasins, or pressed against stiff leather clothing to thaw it before wearing. These stones are not luxuries. They are survival batteries pre-charged by fire. Out here, nothing is wasted. Every motion is intentional. Every action conserves energy, because in this world, energy is warmth, and warmth is life. A mother kneels beside her child, working with practiced hands and patient focus. The first layer she slips on is soft suede tan to feel almost like fabric, pulling moisture away from the skin so sweat can't freeze. Then come loose leggings, not tight, never tight, because trapped air is their secret weapon against the cold. Finally, she wraps her child in a fur robe, thick with insulating undercoat, the kind that turns biting wind into something distant and harmless. Nearby, a hunter prepares for the day's tasks. He bends down and ties leather thongs tightly around the tops of his moccasins, sealing them around his leggings so snow has no chance to creep in. Even a pinch of dampness could freeze in minutes, stealing heat from his body. He knows this instinctively. He has seen winters turn careless men into ghosts. Hands move next mittens, not gloves. Fingers press together, sharing warmth instead of losing it in isolated pockets. The design isn't primitive, it's optimized. Even modern cold-weather mountaineers know mittens outperform gloves where survival matters. A sudden wind gust blows through camp, harsh and cutting like a blade, and a hood of thick bison hide flips up over someone's head, shielding cheeks and ears before frostbite can take hold. The robe moves like armor, bending without breaking, turning winter's attack into nothing more than a gust of air. This is not fashion. This is physics. This is biology turned into engineering. Because body heat isn't lost from lack of warmth. It's lost through airflow. Every stitch, every fold, every wrap of hide is a defensive line against moving air. The clothing doesn't just protect the body. It traps its own precious warmth, holds it close, and refuses to let winter steal it. Inside the longhouse, warmth feels almost alive. Several hearths glow across the earthen floor, fires spaced just enough to heat the entire structure without smoke choking the air. Their light reflects off bent elm beams and bark walls, turning the interior into a soft orange tunnel of comfort. Elders sit nearest to the flames, repairing bowstrings and tools with slow, careful movements. Their work is quiet but constant knowledge passed silently from hand to hand, generation to generation. Children scrape softened hides, then climb ladders to hang them high where the heat collects beneath the arched ceiling. Up there, hides dry faster, soften better, and never freeze. It's physics turned into instinct. Women tend stew pots that simmer all day, steam drifting upward in slow waves. Corn, squash, beans, dried meat, it's not just food, it's fuel. Steam fills the space with a smell that feels like comfort, like safety. Along the walls are bundles of dried food stacked in neat rows. They do more than feed people. They hold warmth, absorbing heat during the day and releasing it at night like thermal batteries. The longhouse stays warm even while the fires sleep. Families organize themselves by temperature zones. The youngest and oldest sleep on raised platforms where hot air naturally rises. Adults sleep lower, wrapped in layered furs, sharing warmth and space. There is no wood-burning stove here, no insulation foam, no electricity. Just body heat, shared fires, bark walls, and thoughtful design working together. The longhouse doesn't defeat winter, it outsmarts it. It turns cold into cooperation, physics into survival, and community into warmth. Outside the dwellings, heavy snow drifts slowly, piling up in swirling, wind-carved shapes. But people don't try to clear it away, they take shovels and push the snow toward the walls, packing it tight. What looks like simple labor is precise insulation work. Layer by layer, the snow thickens, hardens, and seals gaps, forming a natural wind barrier that no modern material could match. Snow, once a threat, becomes armor. It stops freezing winds, blocks drafts, and keeps precious warmth trapped inside the living space. It doesn't melt easily, and it doesn't shift because packed snow, like foam, contains huge pockets of trapped air. And trapped air is nature's most efficient insulator. Beneath the walls, earth embankments rise like foundation shields. A thick berm of soil prevents the cold from creeping upward through frozen ground, stopping heat loss at its source. It's simple, ancient engineering. Cold flows downward, heat rises, so the earth is shaped to protect the base where heat is most vulnerable. In the far northern regions, the concept becomes even more sophisticated. The camera cuts to a shelter dug partly into the earth, its low roof buried beneath meters of snow. Inside, the temperature stays around freezing even when the world above hits 30 degrees Fahrenheit. Snow, earth, and physics work together like a coordinated system. None of this requires modern power, plastic, foam, or technology. Just observation, patience, and deep respect for how heat and air behave. Snow isn't an enemy to battle. Snow is thermal armor, a shield forged by winter itself. Night settles over the Tipi like a blanket, and blue moonlight filters through drifting smoke. The world outside is silent except for the wind, but inside, warmth is being engineered with deliberate care. A woman shakes out layered bedding, building it like a living structure. First, the thick base hides to block ground cold, then dense pelts to hold heat, then soft, luxurious furs that trap air close to the skin. Every layer is a shield, every texture a strategy. Near the fire, smooth river stones glow faintly. They were heated for hours, soaking up energy. Now they are wrapped in hide and carried to sleeping platforms, where they release warmth slowly, like primitive hot water bottles. Children settle close to their parents, forming a cluster of shared heat. A silent agreement that body warmth belongs to everyone. The fire is not allowed to burn high or wastefully. Instead, ashes are spread gently over the coals, trapping embers beneath a breathable cover. This keeps the fire alive all night, releasing just enough heat to maintain comfort while preserving fuel. A hunter crouches nearby, holding his moccasins over a heated stone. Steam rises from thawing leather, the moisture evaporating before the cold can claim it. His movements are quiet, careful, practiced heat management as survival ritual. Inside this tipi, nothing is accidental. Not the bedding, not the stones, not the spacing of bodies. Even in sleep, warmth must be managed, protected, monitored. The night is not a time to let down defenses. It is a battlefield of temperature. And the people here have mastered every tactic. Night in deep winter is not loneliness here, it is connection. Firelight paints warm color over faces, shadows dancing on hide walls as if the flames themselves are listening. Voices are quiet, unhurried. Because this is a time for thinking as much as doing. Elders lean close to the fire, telling stories that are more than entertainment. They are coded survival messages, passed down the same way tools and clothing are. Legends flow into practical wisdom. How to read the wind, how to smell a coming storm, how to recognize ice that cracks beneath a hunter's feet. Around the camp, hands remain busy. Someone sharpens an arrowhead, flaking stone with rhythmic taps. Another works on a snowshoe frame, tightening rawhide laces that will keep feet from sinking into drifts. Small repairs are made carefully, because in winter, failure is unforgiving. Children sit beside elders, copying knots, practicing bow fletching, learning how to shape wood without splitting it. Their eyes shine not with fear of winter, but with confidence in understanding it. Knowledge is not written in books, it is placed directly into their hands. Food is shared, never owned. A bowl of stew travels from one person to another. A robe is draped over someone who looks cold. Warmth isn't individual here, it is communal. In this quiet night, surrounded by cold that would kill the unprepared, people are calm. They do not see winter as an enemy. They see it as a season that reveals character, sharpens judgment, and strengthens unity. Winter is not fear. Winter is wisdom. So now the question flips. Not, how did they survive? But would we even stand a chance? Because what many dismissed as primitive turns out to be one of the most efficient, elegant, and intelligent survival systems ever created. If this story shifted the way you look at winter, technology, and the people who mastered both, we invite you to stay with us, to keep exploring the wisdom carved into snow, hide, wood, and fire. Tap like, subscribe, and follow our journey into ancient engineering, living science, and the knowledge that still has something to teach our modern world. Sometimes, the smartest solutions aren't new. They've been waiting for us for centuries. This is Native Legends Uncovered, and we're just getting started.